Hi you guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I wanted to take a look at the brand new Saber Firebird and the Retaliator base update. Okay, so I know I'm kind of late to the party on this one. Work got kind of busy and I wasn't able to make a video, but I still wanted to hop on here and talk about these two ships a little bit. Okay, so I'm sure all of you guys have already seen this by now. We're able to go to the website and take a look at it for yourselves. So I'm going to kind of skip a lot of the marketing material here, and we're just going to go straight into the price. Okay, this is a very good looking ship. I'm not gonna lie, I am a big fan of the Saber Raven design, and the Saber Firebird is essentially the same thing but with a little bit of tweaks. And essentially the history behind that is that CIG made a deal with Intel to pair one of their ships with one of the Intel SSDs, I believe, and it was kind of like this exclusive deal. So CIG, as a part of the contract, was not really able to sell that ship again. So this ship is just different enough that CIG can say, okay, it's something that's different, and they can sell it. So it has different fins at the back. The openings from the Saber Raven have been blocked off, and they have become extra intakes in the Saber Firebird. It also has its weapons in a different location, also has a different loadout, and CIG has already said that the loadouts are not interchangeable. So its specifications here is that it has 12 size 3 Thunderbolt 3 missiles in it, whereas the Saber Raven is has those EMPs, 2 EMPs, and that is very unique, and it will remain very unique for that ship, again because of the deal that CIG made with Intel. So the Firebird has dual Mantis GT size 3 Gatling cannons, and these are actually pretty effective weapons. These are good weapons. So I think that once you've dumped the missile payload, you will still, be a capable medium fighter. It of course comes with different skins, and you guys could look at that. I will leave this page linked in the video description below. Of course, it comes with the jacket. But what we're really looking at here today is the price of these ships. Okay, so standalone war bond, it's coming in at $170, and for store credit it's coming in at $185. So you guys have to keep in mind that the ships that we're going to be comparing this to are ships like the Hornet Mark II and the Talon Shrike. I think those two ships are very good comps to a ship like this. So the Hornet Mark II comes in at $160, so it's $10 less than this, and it has two size 4 hard points. It has one size 3 hard point on the nose, and has one size 5 hard point gimbal mount where the cargo box is. So you can change out that cargo box for a ball turret and put, I believe, two size 2s on there. So the Mark II has a lot of hard points, so you can really raise that DPS number up a lot. And because it's $10 cheaper than this, it presents itself as a very good value. It also still has missiles. I believe it has 8 size 2 missiles or something like that. Correct me in the comments down below if you guys know the exact specs for the Mark II. I can't remember them off the top of my head. But I don't really use missiles in game. Missiles is hit and miss, no pun intended, oftentimes in the game. But kind of the party trick of the Firebird is that it can fire an entire row of missiles at one time. So that essentially separates it a little bit from the Talon Shrike. So now if we talk about the Talon Shrike, that ship is $115. That's $55 cheaper than this. And again, we're talking about war bond here. At 185 store credit, it's looking even worse. So the Talon Shrike has 24 size 3 missiles. Now those are Arrestor 3 missiles, not Thunderbolt missiles. So the Arrestor 3s are a little bit worse than the Thunderbolt 3s, but you can of course equip Thunderbolt 3s in your Talent Strike. Now, the Talent Strike has 2 size 2 hard points versus this 2 size 3. And that is a little bit less effective than those 2 size 3s. I believe they come with laser cannons instead of these ballistic gatlings. So these ballistic gatlings are going to put down a lot more DPS than those laser cannons, those size 2 laser cannons. Okay, so that is something you have to take into account. That being said, the Talent Strike is very maneuverable. I don't really know if the Strike is more maneuverable than the Firebird. Again, I'm sure that PvP players, combat players will, make those videos comparing these two ships, combat prowess, and I'm excited to see those videos. But that $55 price gap, in my opinion, is pretty big. This ship would really need to offer a lot to really justify that, and I think that that makes it a little less exciting. Okay, so in my original video when I was talking about this ship, I kind of theorized, maybe CIG would throw the community a bone and make this ship 125 to 150. Okay, kind of in the same price range as the Mark 1 Hornet. But they really went with a pricing structure that's more similar to this standard Saber. And when I said that, a lot of people in the comments were like, yeah, CIG is going to make it more expensive than that, dude. And you guys were right. $170. I like the design of this ship. I think that it's very cool looking, but for me personally, this is a buy-in game. I don't think I would spend real money on this. $170 is a lot of money. And again, let's put this price in perspective here for a second. To an ordinary gamer, when the news came out about GTA 6 potentially being $150, a lot of people were kind of baffled by that. Of course, they would still buy GTA 6 at $150, but that's a lot of money for a lot of people. You could buy a lot of games for that money. You could buy a lot of, good quality games, Helldivers 2, that type of thing. Helldivers 2 is like, what, $40 now? So you're paying $170 for a spaceship in a game that is still an alpha. It is buggy. And I feel like this disclaimer needs to be said when we're talking about these ships at these prices. This ship, again, more expensive than what people are projecting GTA 6 to be. GTA 6 is a whole game that's been in development for almost a decade now. So this is a ship that, for all intents and purposes, a couple of designers spent 1 or 2 months on, fixing up a little bit. And again, this is just my experience with this ship, but when I tested this ship in PTU, it didn't appear to be gold standard. I wasn't able to interact with the components. Again, that was in PTU, so correct me in the comments down below if you are able to interact with the components and if this ship is gold standard. But I wasn't able to test that out for you guys. So I kind of think that CIG could have put a little bit more effort into this ship if they were really intending it to sell at that price. Again, it's kind of like this reoccurring thing that I'm starting to see. They did it with the F8 Lightning. The F8 Lightning was a ship that was available in game. Players were stealing it from NPCs, changing out the weapons. CIG dropped it for $300. It's not gold standard. They didn't really touch it. Then we get the Hornet Mark II. It's essentially an NPC F7A Mark I with a blue skin and the cargo box working. Not gold standard. CIG didn't really do that much to it. A couple of designers probably spent a month or two on it. Same thing with this ship now. Change a couple of body lines, make some paints for it. I could be wrong about this, but it doesn't seem to be gold standard. Sell for $170. I just want to put these prices, these numbers in perspective for you guys, because it's a lot of money to be spending on spaceships. Now, I don't necessarily think it's a bad deal if you compare it to some of the other fighters, but for me personally, it's something that I would buy in game. Now, that being said, it's not the only ship that has gone up in price. If we're talking about money, we also got to talk about the new Retaliator base that's gone up in price just a little bit. And again, technically, If you think about it in the way of concept ships, every time a CIG releases a concept ship, it is a little bit cheaper than when it gets added to the game. And even though we've had the Retaliator in the game for years now, it hasn't been the Retaliator base. So it technically has just left concept. So let's go over and take a look at that now. All right, so we have the Retaliator base. This is huge. This is a big deal for the game because it's the first ship with a legitimate modularity where there are modules that can be replaced in this in your mobiGlas. When you call your ship, you can configure everything out. I think the storage box in the Hornet is kind of like that, in all honesty, being able to swap that out. But this is a whole different system because of how the cargo containers work. You could control the elevator and that, sort of thing. So this is the first true implementation of modularity in Star Citizen. So let's take a look at it. Now, we have a lot of options here. And I believe that if you have the bomber variant, that CIG will update that ship for you. They'll give you a base and they'll give you the torpedo module front and rear separately. So you will be able to equip and unequip them in the game. So you will get a gold standard base as well as your torpedo modules. Now the modules that you can buy are front and rear, cargo and torpedo modules, and as well they also have the personnel and dropship modules here. Now there is no rear dropship module, but these modules are mix and match and interchangeable. So you could have a cargo module at the front, a personnel module at the back. You could have a drop module at the front, a torpedo module at the back. You can choose essentially what modules you want to load in here, and I like that because it has 2 module slots. You have that added functionality of each one, or you could put you could put 2 cargo modules. And because it's something that seems to be easily swappable in your mobiGlas, or presumably when we get persistent hangars come out, that you can essentially equip this ship for the gameplay that you want to do that day. And I do really appreciate that. And we have more information about the modules here. You can see a kind of a closer look at them. The cargo module, the dropship module, it looks like it has 12 drop seats. Okay, this is pretty interesting. It is in concept, so I don't know a whole ton about it right now. If the floor opens up for them to jump out, or if they all have to go to the elevator, but it is for right now a place with more seats. It looks like here it does have the rails for this whole platform to be lowered down, and for people to leave these drop seats, kind of like the elevator in the cargo module. So you see these rails here for the cargo elevator. The dropship module still has these rails here, so I don't know. Then you have the personnel module. This is also in concept. It just kind of shows a table and some chairs. We don't know entirely what that's gonna all entail. Then for the rear modules, we have the torpedo, cargo, and personnel module is a little bit different. This module has seats and a table here. So it might have like a little kitchenette, more creature comforts type situation. And of course we have different paints. This ship is kind of a beast, okay? 7 crew max, 2 modular rooms, of course, 3 manual turrets, okay, with 2 size 3s, and 2 manual turrets with 2 size 2s. So this thing is very heavily equipped. And what are we looking at price wise? Okay, so the Retaliator with all modules, $360. I honestly don't think that's a bad deal. Let's take a look at more information. What are you getting with that? You're getting Victor's jacket, torpedo module front, torpedo module rear, cargo module front, cargo module rear, personal module front, personal module rear, dropship module front, 10-year insurance, and the VFG hanger. You're getting 10-year insurance with this war bond because this is not concept anymore. And then you have $200 here. This is just cargo. Then you have $255. This is torpedo. Okay. And then you have, again, with all modules, but this is not war bond. This is store credit. So store credit is $400. War bond is $360. So paying a little bit more with store credit, that's pretty typical. Okay. And so standalone, it's gone up in price, but not that much. I honestly think that this is not a bad deal at $160. Again, this is cheaper than the Firebird. The Firebird is $170. Okay, so for $160, what are you getting? Okay, you're getting the Invictus jacket, 10-year insurance again because this is no longer concept. You're getting a hanger for $160, and then of course, for store credit, it is $175, and then the modules sold separately if you want just the module separately. The front module is $30. The front cargo is $30. The rear cargo is $30. The front torpedo is $75. The rear torpedo is $50. Okay, so they are not selling the other concept modules as of right now. Okay, so they're only selling the modules that you can have in game right now. I do like that. I think that's a good idea. $75 and $50. Again, you could in theory buy a front cargo and a rear torpedo. You know, that would be $80 on top of your retaliate. And I know a lot of people have the base, so if you have the base and you want those modules, you want to try out the torpedo module, you want to try out a little bit of cargo, mix and match, you can do that. And then we have the paints here. Okay, so at the end of the day, even though the Retaliator has gone up in price a bit, I do think it's still an amazing deal for what you're getting. Now, you also have to remember that this ship is gold standard too, so it is already equipped with the relays and the fuses and stuff, all laid out on the ship. And I think they did a good job with the update. It you know, has all of the features, the components that you know, that type of stuff, those standards that we're accustomed to now with newer ships. So I think it's a really good value. I think, you know, this ship is going to be very exciting for a lot of people. I know looks wise, it, you know, is a bit divisive. Not everybody's in love with it. It still looks a little bit like an older ship from the outside design wise. I think it's a really good looking ship. Again, if you want to get in with a bunch of friends and fly this ship around, you can be pretty dangerous. Okay, it has a lot of shields, has a lot of guns. If you put those torpedoes in it, I think it's a pretty good value right now. Again, torpedo module wise, let's go back over here. Okay, with all the modules, it's $360, but with just the torpedoes, it's $255. And you compare that to something like the Eclipse. The Eclipse is $300. Okay, so are you gonna get a Retaliator bomber with those torpedoes, and the ability to swap them out for something else down the line in the future for $255, or are you going to pay $45 more for an Eclipse that has only 3 torpedoes? I don't know. The Eclipse is not in the best place right now. I think single-seater fighters, they're just kind of too much money. That's just my personal opinion. I think a lot of single-seater fighters nowadays are just, the prices are getting inflated. I don't think that they should be running up that high. You know, again, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think the Retaliator base is good value, great value. I think this is something that a lot of people should, you know, seriously consider. And I think the Firebird is a little bit overpriced, but that's just me. I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. That's why I make these videos, because I love talking to you guys. I love having these conversations. I'm very passionate about the game, and I want it to be the best that it can be. So If you guys have had an opportunity to test out the Firebird or Retaliator base, let me hear your opinions down below. Sound off, have conversations, you know, keep it cordial. You know, I want us to respect each other. We are all members of the community and all of our opinions matter. So with that being said, that's going to be it for me here today, you guys. Like I always say at the end of these videos, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more. I will see you guys in the next one. Salut.